Okay, so we are back. Time to talk about Hamas. Okay, talk about major Democrat busted in PDF file sting, showing you that. Well, I'll let you know about that. And we're also going to be talking about George Soros boasting about how future elections are rigged. Those of us who are in the know already know, presidents are not elected; they are selected. But let's get into it. IDF knew of Hamas' plan to kidnap 250 before October 7th attack. This is from the Jerusalem Post. The IDF had precise information about Hamas' intention, but due to prevailing conceptions in the security establishment and possible negligence by officials, the warning signs were not noticed. A newly surfaced document has revealed that the Israeli Defense Forces and intelligence systems had detailed knowledge of Hamas's plan to raid Israel and kidnap 250 people weeks before the October 7th massacre. The document, which was compiled in the Gaza division, outlined Hamas' intentions and was known to top intelligence officials, to report by Khan News. The document, titled Detailed End-to-End Raid Training, was distributed on September 19th, 2023, and described in detail the series of exercises conducted by Hamas elite units. These exercises included raiding military posts and kibbutzim, collective communities in Israel, kidnapping soldiers and civilians, and maintaining hostages once they were in the Gaza Strip. The report by Khan News stated security forces told Khan News that the document was known to the intelligence leadership at the very least in the Gaza division. The document's revelations came in the wake of the widespread criticism over the failure to anticipate and prevent the October 7th attack, which resulted in significant casualties and hostages. The IDF had precise information about Hamas's intentions, but due to prevailing conceptions within the security establishment and possible negligence by senior officials, the warnings were not acted upon. No, they knew they deliberately let this happen so they could have a land grab of Palestine. The report further detailed that the Israeli intelligence officials monitored the exercise and documented the steps Hamas planned to take after breaching Israeli territory and taking over military posts. The expected number of hostages, according to the document, was between 200 and 250 people. Israeli intelligence officials who monitored the exercise detailed in the document the next steps after breaching into Israel and taking over the post, determining that the instruction is to hand over the captured soldiers to the company commanders. The expected number of hostages, it states, is between 200 and 250 people, Khan News reported. The information, combined with a new and sophisticated security barrier completed 2 years before the attack, was believed to have made such an assault improbable. However, the barrier failed during the Hamas attack, highlighting a significant intelligence security oversight. The General Staff Investigation Team is expected to present initial findings from this failure to the Chief of Staff in the coming weeks, as the country seeks to understand how such lapse in security could occur despite having detailed advanced knowledge of the enemy's plans. The Israel-Hamas war began on October 7th when Hamas launched an attack with thousands of terrorists infiltrating the Gaza border and taking more than 240 hostages into the Gaza Strip. During the massacre, more than 1,200 Israelis and foreign nationals were murdered, including over 350 in the Reem Music Festival, and hundreds of Israeli civilians across the Gaza border communities. 120 hostages still remain in Gaza captivity. I think they're just trying to be light with it, but this all falls on Netanyahu. Okay. So let's talk about, all right, this major Democrat political figure was caught in a child sex sting. All right. Michael Knappen, the leader of the Alphabet Democrats of Maryland, has been caught on video attempting to rape a teenage boy. Pedophile hunter Alex Rosen caught Knappen in a sting operation where he attempted to meet the minor for sex. Wow. What people will talk about is the Alphabet Mafia and pedophilia go hand in hand. All right, it's their dirty little secret. there's a lot of things that go on in the alphabet rainbow community, especially the fact with the Transformers going against the lesbians, because the lesbians won't date the Transformers, and the Transformers call them TERFs, and there's like a big beef between them, and some lesbians get bullied into even having sex with these TERFs. Not the TERFs, the Transformers, Decepticons. All right, so let's hear what Mr. Michael Napkin has to say for himself.
Anyway, you're the head of the LGBTQ Dems in Maryland. Okay. How long have you been in that position for?
Since fall.
Since fall. Okay. Is that like a paid position? Okay. Just more of a volunteer type thing. Is it like a super PAC or something, or is it just okay? This stuff said here, like, you know, I want to rape you. I want to see how much of a faggot you are. What was kind of said about that?
Whoa! Let's play that back.
Anyway, you're the head of the LGBTQ Dems in Maryland. Okay. How long have you been in that position for?
Since fall.
Since fall. Okay. Is that like a paid position? Okay. Just more of a volunteer type thing. Is it like a super PAC or something, or is it just okay? This stuff said here, like, you know, I want to rape you. I want to see how much of a faggot you are. What was kind of said about that?
I hope you try to get away once I start fucking you.
Yeah.
I like the fantasy, and he seemed to enjoy it. And I didn't know.
You heard this, man? He liked the fantasy. Wow. You go to jail, it's over for him. It is over.
This person, and I never intended to.
Do you think that's appropriate though? Like,
No, of course. No, of course.
I mean, here we said it's okay if you want to jerk off looking at it, talking about your dick. And you said, stop by this morning so I can stretch your hole, faggot. Can't wait to make you my little... And this was later that... Or 4 days later with no response. Can't wait to make you my little cum dump, baby boy.
Okay. I may need therapy after listening to that. Let's keep going. Okay. The news of this incident has sent shockwaves through the community, raising concerns about the safety of minors and trustworthiness of those in the position of power. It serves as a stark reminder of the importance of vigilance and accountability when it comes to protecting vulnerable individuals from exploitation and harm. An active member of the Alphabet Democrats of Maryland, Nappin's alleged actions have not only tarnished his own reputation, but also cast a shadow over the organization as a whole. Well, you guys know this stuff happens anyway, but you try to look the other way. You know this stuff happens. You know this stuff happens with same-sex foster parents. You know this stuff happens. There's a alphabet couple in Georgia that got prosecuted because they were pimping out their 2 adopted foster boys. This is why Russia bans alphabet foster parenting. The implications of this revelation are far-reaching, sparking discussions about the need for stricter background checks and screening process for those in leadership roles. Alex Rosen, known for his work in exposing individuals who prey on minors, has once again demonstrated the importance of his efforts in safeguarding the well-being of young people. He is dedicated to the pursuing justice and holding wrongdoers accountable, has earned him respect and admiration from many in the community. The fact that Nappin was not only a leader within the Alphabet Democrats of Maryland, but also a member of the Maryland Democrat Party Executive Committee, in particularly concerning. It raises questions about how someone in such an influential position could engage in such predatory behavior, and highlights the need for increased transparency and oversight with political organizations. In the light of these disturbing revelations, it is crucial for the Alphabet Democrats of Maryland and the Maryland Democratic Party to take swift and decisive action. This includes conducting thorough investigations, implementing stricter policies and protocols, and ensuring that those who are found guilty of misconduct are held accountable for their actions. Look, I don't take anything seriously from these people because you have these creatures, these monsters in both sides of the political aisle. Okay? That's the issue. And they still keep coming in. This has been going on for decades. Nothing's really going to change. Nothing at all when it comes to that. Unless you take it into your own hands, which I don't really have a problem with. I don't, because the courts protect these people. They protect these monsters. And sometimes Frank Castle is needed. I'll say it just like that. But let's not talk about George Soros now. The infamous George Soros, the person that was backing Black Lives Matter, the person that basically has his hands in every evil part of the political underworld. Let's talk about him. Fair use. How he says that most of these elections are rigged. Like I said, once again, for those of us in the know, we already know that.
He is the electorate. He chooses the president, and all future elections are 100% fixed for the radical left, thanks to his work behind the scenes, that he says will continue bearing fruit long after he has departed this mortal realm. Asked what he thinks his legacy will be when he passes on, the 93-year-old globalist billionaire said that his work fixing the results of future elections will be his greatest legacy. Yet he can't fill a local Starbucks with supporters. That you'd swear they have given up on winning the popular vote. But something strange is going on. The official narrative says that Biden won more votes than any American president in history. Yet he can't fill a local Starbucks with supporters when he goes on tour. As for Kamala Harris, she's too busy welcoming bearded men in dresses to the White House to bother with trying to win over grassroots voters with real concerns about...
This is what they got in the party. But these people are also on the right. You got Blair Wright. You got who else? Caitlyn Jenner. You have, they're there. I mean, Trump even said he had a banner saying Alpha Rainbow Mafia for Trump. So don't get deceived.
The direction America is heading. This generation of WF-aligned Democrats should have been wiped off the electoral map long ago and consigned to the dustbin of history where they belong. So, how are they still in power? Do you remember the time Hillary Clinton introduced her friend and megadonor George Soros and his interest in getting involved in US elections? That's right, not US policies, but US election processes. The Democrats and their masters, the globalist elite, don't want you to see this video. It's been repeatedly censored, banned, and deleted from every social media site.
You know, it is not enough for America's future that some participate and others don't. We have been given an extraordinary blessing, and at this moment in time, our country needs us. And we need people like George Soros, who is fearless and willing to step up when it counts. So please join me in welcoming George Soros.
It is the first time that I feel that I need to stand up and do something really and become really engaged in the electoral process in this country.
Nobody should be the least bit surprised that Hillary Clinton thinks that cheating in elections is justified. An audio recording from 2006 reveals that Hillary Clinton told newspaper editor Ellie Chomsky that the US should have fixed the outcome of a foreign election.
I do not think we should have pushed for an election in the Palestinian territories. I think that was a big mistake. And if we were going to push for an election, then we should have made sure that we did something to determine who was going to win.
Damning stuff. But it gets even worse. Obama is up to his neck in this as well. And he's even more shameless than Hillary when it comes to justifying cheating. In a resurfaced video, Obama was seeking to ease concerns about a potential Republican landslide victory in 2009 by telling a crowd of Democrats in Ohio that they shouldn't worry because Democrats control the election voting machines.
Well, I tell you what, it helps in Ohio that we got Democrats in charge of the machines. But look, I come from Chicago, so I want to be honest. It's not as if it's just Republicans who have monkeyed around with elections in the past. Sometimes Democrats have too. You know, whenever people are in power, they have this tendency to try to, tilt things in their direction.
Which is very strange because Democrats in 2024 claim there's no such thing as voter fraud. Even suggesting there might be voter fraud occurring before our very eyes is enough to land major media organizations with defamation payouts of hundreds of millions of dollars. This is highly sensitive and dangerous territory, and we're taking a major risk by bringing you the information that we're about to reveal. But these are critical times, and it's our duty at the People's Voice to expose the masses to the truth. Today's sponsor is... Forgot to tell the executives at Google who are on the record boasting that they have rigged 41 elections for the far left in the last 16 years. For the record, Google executives met with Obama behind closed doors at the White House an astonishing 427 times during his presidency. But of course, they couldn't have been discussing anything to do with Google's icy grip on information flows to influence elections, because as Democrats say, voter fraud doesn't exist. And obviously, the Democrats responsible for maintaining the role of 320,000 ghost voters actively registered to vote in November's election in must-win Michigan, Detroit, could not possibly be engaging in voter fraud. Ghost voters are shadows who linger on voter rolls after the real inhabitants have either died or moved interstate. Without voter ID, anybody can show up and vote as a ghost voter once, twice, or 320,000 times. Democrats couldn't possibly be resorting to a trick used by corrupt Zimbabwean election officials in 2008, could they?
You can find voters pretty much anywhere in Zimbabwe, down dirt roads and in thick scrubland as well as the main cities. But not here. And that's the point, there aren't any voters here, even though according to this electoral roll for Harare North, there should be thousands. You get the odd shack like this, which is supposed to hold maybe 20-odd voters. That's according to the electoral rolls that the MDC has gotten hold of. In fact, this whole area around here, 300 square metres or so, is supposed to hold 8,000 voters.
For the record, Michigan's voter rolls are the responsibility of George Soros-backed Democrat Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson. Is this part of Soros's behind-the-scenes work? Or was he only referring to buying up every Spanish-language news outlet in the United States and programming their content with far-left fake news and propaganda? Speaking of Soros and Spanish-language America, whoever programmed the 6,000 voting machines in Puerto Rico last week that systematically miscalculated votes could not possibly have been engaging in voter fraud. Puerto Rico's Elections Commission announced on Tuesday that it's reviewing its contract with Dominion Voting Systems after hundreds of discrepancies in vote totals were discovered following the island's primary elections. According to Elon Musk, the US must eliminate all electronic voting machines, warning that they're designed to allow fraud by bad faith actors. Musk responded to a post from Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who was weighing in on the anomalies during Puerto Rico's primary elections. This is not the first time that Musk, who has a following of nearly 188 million people, has warned about fraud in the electoral system.
Well, there you have it. Now, let's talk about farmers. Okay. Yep, we're going to be talking about that. Talking about what Idaho farmers are going through right now with their water being shut off. Yes, that's right. Their water being shut off. Let's get into it.
Here in the middle of the Arizona desert during one of the worst mega droughts of the past 1,200 years. So you might be surprised to know that a Saudi Arabian-owned company is being allowed to use these pumps to pump unlimited amounts of groundwater to irrigate farm fields in the desert and grow one of the most water-intensive crops there is, alfalfa. So what is this company doing with all of this alfalfa? Well, they're putting it on trucks, then they put it on trains, then they put it on ships, and they send it back to the Middle East. So why are they growing these crops out here in Arizona instead of back home? Well, it's illegal to grow a crop like alfalfa in Saudi Arabia because it uses too much water. The Attorney General of Arizona says this is an outrage. She says this is scandalous, and she's trying to get these leases, which are on state-owned land, canceled so this will stop happening. She says that these foreign-owned companies should not...
Let me play this back again for you all to understand the nonsense that's going on here, the madness.
We're out here in the middle of the Arizona desert during one of the worst mega droughts of the past 1,200 years. So you might be surprised to know that a Saudi Arabian-owned company is being allowed to use these pumps to pump unlimited amounts of groundwater to irrigate farm fields in the desert and grow one of the most water-intensive crops there is, alfalfa. So what is this company doing with all of this alfalfa? Well, they're putting it on trucks, then they put it on trains, then they put it on ships, and they send it back to the Middle East. So why are they growing these crops out here in Arizona instead of back home? Well, it's illegal to grow a crop like alfalfa in Saudi Arabia because it uses too much water. The Attorney General of Arizona says this is an outrage. She says this is scandalous, and she's trying to get these leases, which are on state-owned land, canceled so this will stop happening. She says that these foreign-owned companies should not be allowed to operate here in Arizona, especially now that water is a...
So this is the thing. I mean, Arizona is dealing with a severe heat wave and a drought, and they need that water, but that water is used to help a foreign country when they're in need right now. Arizona's in need. This is the nonsense going on with America. And American citizens are suffering. And I'm telling you now that, call me an Islamophobe, but this is hurting America. All right. We have people starving here. We have people hungry here. People out of work, veterans who need help. All these resources need to be for Americans, not other countries. You have Ukraine. All right. Ukraine is getting billions of dollars when Americans need it. Now, when it comes to a country like Saudi Arabia, all right, they got their issues. All right. But I'm sorry, but we have issues here. America first. America first. Unfortunately, everybody else's plight means more than what Americans are going through. Even with America, you got other people's problems are more important than other demographics here. And we all know the demographic that gets the short end of the stick when it comes to that. And since I talked about Islam, let's talk about what they're trying to do in France. Second. Tommy Robinson is talking about this right now. Straight from the horse's mouth. Allah Akbar. Here in France, the jihad has not yet been launched. We are not here to kill people, but we are preparing because given how we are oppressed, we never know. Islam is everywhere in the media. He will conquer all of Europe. That's what I'm reading the topic. What's said for above the tweet. Let's get into it.
Ici en France, évidemment, le djihad n'a pas été lancé. On n'est pas là pour aller tuer les gens. Simplement, on est en train de se dire, ah, il serait peut-être temps qu'on se prépare. Parce que vu comment on est opprimé, on ne sait jamais. Vous voyez, on commence à être véritablement inquiet.
Notre colère aujourd'hui, elle est plus que visible. Non, elle est aussi légitime.
Les gens, ils crèvent la faim. Leurs placards se vident. Leur frigo, il n'y a presque plus rien dedans. Et de quoi on se préoccupe? De notre tenue vestimentaire. Savoir si notre barbe ou le niqab des femmes va améliorer la situation des Français.
Êtes-vous encore d'accord avec la démocratie maintenant?
Non.
The reality is, if you're French, if you're a Muslim, you are second class or even a third class citizen inside France today. Islam is the future for the West. It is the future for Paris.
Who are they to say this is the future? Who are they to say? They're already coming in your country and try to tell you and dictate what they want for your country. This is crazy. This is like the migrants. All right. They're telling you, and their faith says we could come to your home and take over. That's what they want. And a lot of people are not listening, especially black people. You're taking on a faith that says, you know, you are the image of the devil. Okay? That you are destined for hellfire. They enslaved you. You want to talk about the white man enslaving you, all these things that they've done, but you've taken on a religion that was created by a person who's white. You can read the description in the Quran. He's white. Or in the Hadith, he's white. I want to say white man's the devil. But in the Quran, the black man is the devil. According to Islam, the black man is the devil. And they have a caste system too. You white Muslim, you're treated like gold. The Arab first, though. But the black Muslim is treated like dirt. After all, you are the image of Satan. The black woman is likened unto a pandemic. Okay? And these people fighting hard. Hear what he said. Hear what he said.
No. The reality is, if you're French, if you're a Muslim, you are second class or even a third class citizen inside France today. Islam is the future for the West. It is the future for Paris. It is the future for France. It's the future for Europe. Islam will come and take over all these capitals one by one. Islam is on the streets, it's in the newspapers, it's on the magazines. It is a talking point. And the reason it's a talking point, because it's a challenge to the system and the way a lot of people are living here today. It's an alternative. I believe that we are definitely a danger to Western democracy. Not because he carries weapons, because he carries ID.
No, you're a danger to society because you want to force your way on people. People already know the danger of Islam and what people have suffered in these Islamic countries, mainly women and children, mainly people who want to not be Muslim. You say this free, and they will lie to you too. They will lie and say this free choice. If that's the case, why do you have apostasy laws? Okay, Muslim clerics have said without apostasy laws, Islam would be dead. You know why? Because if you read the Quran, you'll see that book is foolishness, none but perversion and sex. That's all it is. They promise you 72 virgins if you follow Allah. That's it. Everything about that book is about warfare, conquest, and sex, oppressing women, molesting children. And even now, recently, Muslim clerics have passed given the green light that you could sleep with your dead wife. If your wife is dead, you can still sleep with her. I'll say it again. You don't believe me? Go on sunnah2.com, SUNNAH2, the number 2.com. In the search engine, type dead women, see what pops up. This is a very evil religion. And these feminists and these rainbow people trying to be allies to these people, you're crazy, because they will throw you off a roof. Okay? They will throw you off a roof. They don't care about you. They'll smile in your face because they want allies. They know they don't have a prayer of trying to win. and accomplish their goals. So they'll take you on, but as soon as they get into power, they will unalive you because you'll be under Sharia law. That is exactly what they want. That's their goal. Cultural jihad. All right. They want to be a reality. They're not satisfied until they get that. And when they get that, that's when they will unleash all the hate they have towards you as a non-Muslim. Because in their eyes, if you don't accept Allah, you have to be killed. That's what it's about. Because according to them, if they are few in number, pretend to be friends with your enemy, but curse them in your heart. So now we're going to look at a video about the NYPD has issued a level 3 mobilization as police converge on Randall's Island Park. Okay. So they have a mass influx of migrants. Let's check it out.
بوليس نحن ندير بلاد شنو صارنا go back inside now and see
all these people come in. All right. Here's what else is going on. More people are speaking out.
Don't want this renewed, and neither do we. There are other places now that the migrants from that base camp can go. We need to be able to want this renewed.
Residents pull rally outside Floyd Bennett Field, attempting to shut down massive migrant tent city.
And neither do we. There are other places now that the migrants from that base camp can go. We need to be able to go to our national park and enjoy it. That was taken from us. It's been taken from us this summer, and it must not be renewed.
Out of everybody who's upset about this, the first generation immigrants, no matter what their country of origin, they had to jump through hoops. They had to bide their time. They still have family members and friends who are back in the country waiting to get in the legal way, the right way. This rally says we support immigration, but legal immigration.
New York is first. That's the clue. New York is first. Close the border. Close the border. New York is first.
Unfortunately, you could rally all you want, but the people in power are going to keep that border open until they get what they want, which is basically a destabilized economy, people at each other's throats, and then they could usher in what they want. That is the end game. Speaking of what comes with the end game, let's look about how American companies are going full groomer and how we have to be vigilant with our young children.
Personal style is the most important thing.
I feel a lot more freedom when I include more masculine elements into my style.
Personal style is the most important thing.
Jeez. Oh, man. Yep.
I feel a lot more freedom when I include more masculine elements into my style.
I was always obsessed with the women in my life. The way that what they did was for themselves.
My style has changed a whole bunch, and I expect that it will continue to change probably forever.
Whatever feels the most natural is what anyone should be doing.
I have a pair of 501s and I just continually get patched. You can find a number to fit your body in the way that it is you want to be.
This is what they're trying to groom our children, to mess up the view of the genders, to have them confused and to have them into this rainbow mafia warped ideal of gender roles. And this is why there's an agenda to confuse our kids, to have them going and having surgeries that or take hormones that will scar them for life. That is what is going on. Okay. And I'll show you something else. Even politically, for politics. Know who this is? Okay. This is Biden's new White House Associate Communications Director, Tyler Cherry, who identifies as non-binary, anti-Israel, pro-Palestinian resistance, anti-police, anti-capitalism, pro-BLM, calls to abolish the police, supports extreme anti-Semite Linda Saucer, calling her a fierce Muslim woman, wants to stop all arms shipments to Israel. This is what they want to push on our kids. This is the agenda. Okay. This is what they want for our children. it's going to be a hard time being a parent for a lot of people as the years go by, because the agenda is strong. People are going to have to homeschool their kids. They're going to have to find ways to be strong and to fight against this tidal wave, because you'll be dealing not only with the media, not only with the school system, but also with family, especially those who are minorities that have fully taken up into the white supremacist brainwashing, because this is white supremacy is on the Republican and the Democratic side. And the Democratic side wants you to be degenerates. That's their job. That's their focus, is to make people degenerates, especially minorities. And this is the war that will be fought. Take care. Well, I hope that you have been informed and you like the commentary. Let me know what you think in the comments. Anything you want to know about this channel is in the description box. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Later.